Hello, 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 everyone. This is Lady Long, and I am excited because it's my first installment of Tidbit Talks for the new year 2021. So I'm going to wait for a couple moments to let some of you all join in on the dialogue. I'm excited to talk about today's topic, a live Q&A. I really wanted to dive in with you all. I've been having quite a few people ask me a number of times, how do I do it? Right? For those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome to the Teacher Tidbits Talk. And I do this weekly where I just go and we have a little chit chat, parent to parent. We have real talk. And a number of people have asked me how I keep my cool. And for those of you who don't know, I have two toddlers. One is 4 years old and one is 2, but she will be 3 March 1st. So I'm going to be talking about just that, how I keep my zen through the pandemic and through homeschooling and just through everything. And I wanted to dive in with you guys today. So please like this video, share this video, and we're going to get into it. Now, I just want to encourage you all, if this is your first time joining me, I will be doing this weekly and we'll be talking about various topics here on this channel, okay? Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Teacher Tidbits Official, and subscribe to my YouTube channel where I give tons of hands-on activities for preschoolers, toddlers, babies, and I'm also going to be on the rug doing circle times with your preschoolers. All right, so let's dive into the conversation, guys. Please share this video. I'm going to give you guys 3 tips on how I keep my cool. And when I say keep my cool, I'm talking about dealing with my toddlers on a day-to-day basis, through it all, through the stress, through the irritability, and how I just don't blow my top. I don't believe in disciplining children through frustration. I am a firm believer in being stern with children. I do believe that discipline is good for children. I also believe in structure. I'm a very structured person when it comes down to my day-to-day basis and how I work with my children. But you want to make sure that you're not dealing with your children through frustration. And so I want to give you guys the 3 tips that help me to kind of keep my cool through it all, okay? So the first thing I want to let you guys know is that for my specific scenario, I have a 4-year-old who's currently very whiny right now, and then I have a 2-year-old who breaks down for everything, right? She cries if you tell her no. She cries if you tell her to wait. She cries if she's hungry. You're taking too long. She cries if she wants to do something, but she can't do it herself. She's crying if she can't do something that her big sister can do. All those type of things going on. And I just want to paint the scenario for you guys. A lot of times you guys watching from the outside may believe that I have perfect children, and I do not. I have typical 2-year-old, 4-year-old children. All right, so the first thing that I always do is to make sure that I am always giving myself a break. Okay, that's the first thing. The first thing you want to do is give yourself a break. Now, that's going to look different for each of us because all of our scenarios are different. Most of us need daily breaks, a little bit of time to yourself on a day-to-day basis. But for some of you, that may look like just taking a break, maybe, 1 day a week or twice a week or whatever. And I come to find for me, when I don't get my breaks away from the children, I'm more irritable. Things that I let roll off my shoulders, they don't roll off so easily. Things that don't bother me necessarily when I'm just really wound up, everything gets to me. And so I know my breaking point is 3 days. I can go 3 days just boom, 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 nonstop with the children. But after that third day mark, I get extremely irritable. And so I get easily frustrated. So I would implore you to, one, know yourself, but make sure that you're getting those breaks. So for you, that might look like maybe getting up early. To have a break away, not just from the children, but from the family as a whole, especially during this pandemic. If you're home, you're taking care of day-to-day house things, you're taking care of day-to-day family issues on top of your remote working schedule. I'm in New York State, so we are still working, and majority of us are still learning remotely. We have not fully just opened up. The state is still on a quarantine. So it's important for you to step away. And this is what this Q&A is going to be about. I want you guys to type up your questions that you have for me, even if it's a very specific scenario. Just type them up. We'll have that dialogue. We'll have those questions. Okay? Take your break. I have also started implementing, and my personal routine is giving myself 30 minutes a day to myself. 30 minutes a day. So that's the first tip, is to always have a moment to step away. And I strongly suggest that your stepping away moment is when you're doing something for yourself, not something that you're doing for your family, not something that you are doing for work, okay? And I know that that's the ideal situation, but for me, I don't consider going on a Target run my break, unless I'm literally just going to Target for myself. Because for me, if I'm going to Target, but I'm going for the family or going for the house, the family and the house routine is on my mind. My 30 minutes and my moment to myself is when I'm thinking of nothing, okay? I'm just thinking of myself. So that's the first thing. The second thing that helps me is what I call simply walking away. It's something that I was doing when I was an educator in the classroom. I implemented it in my classroom and it worked wonders. 2 simple words. Walk away. Okay? So if I feel myself getting to a boiling point, I'm going back and forth with my toddlers. I'm trying to reason. I'm trying to, and I don't know why we try to reason with toddlers, because they lack reason. But if I'm just at that breaking point and it's just been a stressful day, just one of those days, we all have them, where the kids are they're just on high, just all day long. I say walk away. If the child is having a tantrum, one of my children are just really, really just having a challenging time, I'll tell them to walk away. Now, this is something that I've been doing for a while. So when I say those words, they mean something. When I tell my children to walk away, they literally have to physically remove themselves from the space that we are sharing. and they go to a place to calm themselves down. Instead of saying time out, which essentially it is, it doesn't always have to be. But, so if my child is just really cutting up, I'll say, you know what? You need a second to get yourself together. I need you to walk away. When I say those words, the child has to stop doing what they're doing, stop engaging in the activity or engaging with me, get up and physically remove themselves to a place where they can sit and calm themselves down. Okay? So for my children, sometimes they go to their room and they sit on their bed, and I allow them to have that moment. I'll let them cry it out, and when they are done, they will come back and say, I'm ready now. And a lot of times I'll let them cry it out, do whatever they need to do. And this is for my younger child who has tantrums or, just crying, just a little breakdowns throughout the day. Walk away. She'll calm herself down. We'll talk about it and I'll re-engage her. for my older child who doesn't cry necessarily, let's say she's just doing something that she shouldn't be doing. She's just meddling. She's not crying. She's not worked up, but she's doing something I've asked her not to do. I'll tell her, walk away. So you see that right there? I've implemented a system that they understand that they can take accountability for. I'm not yelling. I'm not high strung. I'm not creating an atmosphere of stress. They're not stressed. They know what everything means. They know what I'm looking for, and it holds them accountable. So if you have that situation where let's just say my 4-year-old, she's playing with sand and she has sand all over the floor, and I told her not to play with the sand. I would simply say, walk away. It's time for you to walk away. She's not crying. She's not fussing. She stops immediately what she's doing and she walks away from the sand, and she'll help me clean up, and she knows that means her playtime with that is done, and she moves on and goes somewhere else. Okay, that really helps. That way I'm not yelling. It's just not a big scene. It's not a big deal. Just walk on away. Get on out of here. Okay? So that's one of the ways that I do it all the time. All right? And for the walk away, my third tip is, again, walk away. Now, for this time, when I say walk away, I'm not talking about the children. I'm talking about me. If I walk into a scenario and it's just really stressful, or maybe the children are just at a high point of stress. I'll paint a scenario for you guys. Maybe I am cooking and I'm doing multiple things at once, and the children are supposed to be playing nicely together while I'm cooking or watching television. Let's say they get into a little bicker over some toys, or they make a huge mess, and I walk into that scenario and I'm just really about to blow my lid. I'm about to blow my top. I will say out loud, mommy is walking away. And instead of the child removing themselves, I remove myself from that scenario. I say it out loud so that way the children know what's happening. Sometimes I have parents that come into high stressful situations. I've seen this happen. They go into a situation and they just don't want to deal. And we have those moments. And they leave the room, but we're the parents. We can't leave children to their own devices. We can't leave them unmonitored. But in this situation, if it's really, really stressful, I will say out loud, I'm walking away. I need to step away. When I say that, my children have now become accustomed to knowing, okay, mommy's really upset, so we're going to let mommy have her moment. They know that means don't follow mommy. Let mommy go off and walk and go off to the side and have her moment. It also is a trigger for my spouse to know I have reached a point where there may be no return. Okay? I need to walk away. And when I do that, my spouse knows, my husband knows, okay, I'm going to let her have her moment. Then he'll, come in, he'll assess the scenario, and he'll take it over. What I'm doing there is I'm not allowing myself to act out through my emotion. And when I take the moment to walk away from the scenario, I can take a step back, I can take a breather, and there's no limit to how long that may be. There's no limit. So if you go and you need like 20 minutes because you are really fuming, but you have these small children, you don't want to act out of your frustration. The last thing that we want to do is to discipline or chastise children through frustration, because that can be a very slippery slope. When you're, I just firmly believe when you are chastising children, because they do need discipline and they do need to be, told which way is right, which way is wrong, which way is up and down. And so you're going to have those moments where you chastise them and you discipline them. But when you do it with a clear head and a clear mind, the punishment will always match the crime, right? So that way you're not over disciplining them because you're pushing out your emotions on them. And it also, in turn, teaches the children how to properly manage their emotions. And you'll come to find over time, your children will do that. If they're upset with their, siblings or with you, I need to walk away. They'll go, clear their head, get their words together, come back, and when they are ready, they talk. So when these scenarios are happening, I don't just walk away and don't come back. I give myself some time, and I come back to the scenario, and I deal with it. But now I'm able to deal with it not out of my emotion, not out of anger, but I'm able to deal with it from a level-headed viewpoint, right? I'm able to deal with it in the right way. And so every time you have those situations with the two walkaways, when you have your child walk away, when they come back, there's a dialogue that happens. There's a conversation that happens. They don't just come back and go into play mode. No, there's a talk. Why did you have to walk away? What was happening there? Why were you angry? Why are we having tantrums? This is how this is the wrong behavior. Let's give an example of the right behavior. After that dialogue takes place, then they enter in back into what they're doing. And it doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be like a big ornate deal. Same thing with me. Once I have to walk away and I need a moment, when I come back, there's a dialogue that takes place. Mommy had to walk away. Do you guys know why mommy had to walk away? And 9 times out of 10, they always say mommy was upset. Yes. Why was mommy upset? Because we made a big mess. Okay. And why don't we make a big mess? Because of such and such. Whatever the scenario is, we talk about it. And if it is a situation like it's a mess, and they're just doing something they're not supposed to do, we go into it and I help them clean it along. Again, I'm talking about toddlers. This will work also for older children. I have a niece who's 6. She's a little bit more independent. And so if I'm talking to her, you know what I'm saying? If I'm talking with her, she lives with us. So if I'm talking to my 6-year-old niece and I say, I need to walk away, I don't need to jump right in after the dialogue and help her. She kind of knows how to do that along. And I say this is a healthy way, even if you have preteens, even if you have teenagers, it's very healthy and it can continue on. And so that's what really works for me. Having these moments to make sure that I'm not acting out of emotion and keeping my cool. All right. So just to really quickly recap, 3 ways that I keep my cool when I am dealing with toddlers, and when I just have various situations, how to keep my patience. The first thing is to always make time for yourself. Have some point throughout the day or throughout the week where you're getting some self-care. That way you're not as irritable and less likely to blow your lid. Second is to walk away. The walk away method for the children. When they are cutting up, tell them to walk away. Have them remove themselves. When they calm down, they can come back. That's example A. Example B, they're doing something they're not supposed to do. Simply tell them to walk away. Don't get into a screaming match with a child. I'm not getting in a screaming match with you. This is my house. I pay the bills, honey. Okay? We're not the same. So we're not going to be yelling. You're not going to be yelling. You walk away. And that simply means that child just, whatever they're doing, they stop it and they literally move and do something else. Maybe they don't have to go into punishment. Maybe they don't have to go into timeout. They just stop and move on. Okay, the third way is the walkaway method for adults, for me. If I'm just getting to a point where I'm really about to lose it on this little child, I remove myself. I say, listen, I'm getting upset. I need to walk away. And that way, when I tell my child that, they understand, don't follow me. Don't come near me. Leave me alone. Let me gather my thoughts. Then I come back once I'm level-headed. And, I'm like, I'm ready to deal with the situation from a point of sobriety. So those are 3 quick ways, methods, and things that help me on a personal level to keep my patience with my toddlers. If you guys want to continue on this conversation, please let me know in the comments. Feel free to email me if you ever have any questions at teachertidbitsofficial@gmail.com. We will be having our Tidbit Talks next Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. live here on Facebook. I'll be putting up the repost on my YouTube channel as well as my IG. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope that this was helpful to you all. Thank you for joining in on the conversation. See you next week. Happy learning.